Hi guys, and on Friday we're going to do a silver wolf this time. Now for you old silver wolves out there, I want to discuss a quick point here, and that is the difference between a feather stick and a fuzzy stick. Okay, you don't hear about fuzzy sticks anymore. You see a lot of feather sticks being made, but not a lot of fuzzy sticks, and this is the difference. Back in the old Boy Scout manual of the 20s and 30s and etc., they talked about these two things specifically. A feather stick is made whenever the wood is wet or everything's damp. And the process of doing it, of course, is to slice and roll up these curls. But usually it's only done on one side or maybe on two sides to form that shape right there. Looks like feathers sticking up. That is so a match or something could easily catch on to it, because the exterior of this wood should be wet. So I'm cutting down to the dry interior wood and therefore raising up and getting to the dry inner wood. The fuzzy stick was a dry piece of wood that you just want to catch. You don't have good small tinder. So you would simply pull and make a series of, like feathers, but fuzzy. You'd go all the way around. So you would take and push and lift, push, lift, push, lift, going around, and then you'd scoot down a little bit and do it again. And it's a series of places for fire to catch a hold of it, okay? And then you'd put a group of these together, especially whenever you had a small amount of tinder. This, think of like a tinder bundle, which is a match or some flame's going to ignite. And think of this more like a bird's nest, something for a spark or something. So with this, you had a fine small tinder, or usually this was a wet stick, and you had to cut down and do that. And it's just variations of a technique, but it was kind of specific, because by doing it this way and raising a group of feathers, you'd start down here and just raise up all the feathers you could, and then you'd snap it off and make as many feathers as you could, and snap it off and make as many feathers as you could, until you had a wad of these feather sticks you could put together and take a single match and hit it, and therefore get it to ignite. With this, it's where I just got dry wood, but I don't have good tinder, or a lot of tinder. So I wanted to kind of get a hold of it in a lot. And a lot of times it's where you could only get big sticks like this. You didn't have any of the small, fine stuff. Well, yes, you could make a feather stick, but it was faster. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go down that stick and just rough it up. And so you made a dozen or 2 dozen of these sticks up right quick and just piled them in a pile. And this would also, as a group of sticks, just like the feather stick, would hold them apart, as those fingers would hold up and let air get between it. See? So I could have a wad of sticks like that and be able to hold it and hold a match up into it and let it go up through those little bitty tinders. They are, in essence, a small tinder, okay? And so it was a way of holding it together and having something I could hold with my hand. So I made my fire lay, and then I took this and I put the match to it, and then got it going good and put it underneath. That was the technique and the idea, okay? So again, a feather stick. A lot of times feather sticks are a little harder to make because you need a wood that's fairly straight grained, so you can roll up the feathers. If you've got a stick that's got a little gnarly and you go to do it and it's just breaking off, it's because the grain is kind of through there and it just doesn't want to grab it. See? And so you keep running out and your feathers keep falling off. So you might want to use a fuzzy stick instead. And that's what I usually do whenever I take one of these and I go to try to make a feather stick and I can't. It just snaps off the minute you start to cut. Then I'll sit there and start making like this. Just hit, lift up, hit, lift up, and generate a line like that going. I'll just start spiraling around it, coming down the stick and make it spiral all the way around and make it fuzzy. Okay? It's just a variation of a technique. But it gives you a little something to think about when we're building a fire, especially with us old guys that we don't get around that well. And so bending down to find those little bitty sticks or where something I can snap up and make a little tinder bundle out of, sometimes it's just better to make what we need, okay? Where you don't have that much tinder and I need some small little thing. Make a feather stick. If it's wet, you're cutting down multiple layers to get to the dry feathers. If it's dry wood, but I just ain't got tinders, make a fuzzy stick right quick to give the fire a place to grab and hold, and therefore catch and run. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. There'll be more little bitty tips and tricks coming up in the future videos, especially for the old Silver Wolves. Thank you very much for being very supportive of the Silver Wolves. I greatly appreciate it, and I will do more in the future for us, those Silver Wolves. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.